And I mention de kakra. Avraham ben Moshe in a debate aka say Bible ni baabi en ho e kasa bonsam ekumobi. Na se etimi ponte baabi a bonsam ekumobi a onfa ne nsanka Bible ni biu. Ana afei so woto aso ka say First Chronicles chapter 21 verse 1 and the Second Samuel chapter 24 verse 1 a contradiction. Na men kan semon hyena no intimumi enti asemo no aka ye na ewi a ya tuebu ase a kyerɛ verse yi mu ye.
Bia bonsam ekumobi yɛmfa nsanka book ni bio. Na baabi Bible mu Nyankopɔn ni ku nipa ema David kron say nipa kumi say nyansa bi anim. First Chronicles, people are kind.
First Chronicles
21 verse 1.
Was it Satan ejnetia Israel?
Open any. Or see Satan ejnetia Israel.
Na opiapia David say onka Israel.
Na opiapia David. Sa same we kura no. O say the same as him. Ewo Second Samuel chapter 24 verse 1. No cry contradiction. Contradiction.
Second Samuel 24.
Second Samuel 24
verse number 1.
Verse 1. People are kind.
Second Samuel 24 1.
Second Samuel 20. The same as some First Chronicles 21 and what's the kind
was Erade who tia Israel bio
Erade tia asi Erade ni bukuru tia Israel bio
na ohanya David tia won say
na ohanya David tia won say
kona ko kan Israel
ana say wan Erade na ko First Chronicles 21 1
First Chronicles 21
je contradiction ba ko si Satan ba ko si Erade ye va de ye
First Chronicles 21 na Satan ejna tia Israel
Satan ejna tia Israel
na opiapia David say onka Israel
na opiapia David say onka Israel nti asem we no eni Yahuda lesson no ye ne ndra na efa say eduma Satan ye gina no Nyankopon na bode pao
oka anuanom samu amate. Number 1 Avraham say bonsam nkum obi a o Bible nim na se etimi point out baabi a bonsam kum nipa onfa ne nsanka Bible ni biu. Number 2 Avraham say First Chronicles chapter 21 bonsam ne ma David ekokan Israel for ana Second Samuel chapter 24 Nyankopon ane ma David ekokan Israel for. Into which is it a contradiction? No, it's not a contradiction. Mummy enchirase. Number 1, the God of the universe, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. No human being can understand him, and obian who betting in numase. But there are some few characteristics about the God of Israel. The Bible describes it for us to know. Number 1, yenim said the God of Israel was a covenant-making God. Oye Nyankopon wa ope apam ye. Number 2, oye omnipotent, otumi ade nyina ye, omniscient, onim bibia, and omnipresent, o bebia. Number 3, Nyankopon so omo odo omo hwe, eye test, enye tempt, test, T-E-S-T, te said Deuteronomy chapter 13 verse 3 ekano. Si ehwe de masan ase na o say, for the Lord your God is testing you to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. And point number 4, Nyankopon ebetimi ama Satan kwan se ombeso wonhwe eye temptation and tempting, T-E-M-P-T-I-N-G, and God can claim that credit even though God does not tempt but rather test. But enam so ma bon some permission tino, he can claim the credit as if say wono an attempting oni akro. Example A, Job. See Job chapter 1 verse 8 to 12 I will say, now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them. And the Lord said to Satan, from where do you come? So Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro on the earth, and from walking back and forth on it. Then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man, one who fears God and shuns evil? So Satan answered the Lord and said, does Job fear you for nothing? Have you not made a hedge around him, around his household, and around all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land. But now stretch out your hand and touch all that he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. And the Lord said to Satan, behold, all that he has is in your power, only do not lay a hand on his person. So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. Okay anuanom, se hwe Bible verse we a yetimi se Nyankopon ama Satan kwan se onkoso Job nhwe. But wo wone ne se hwe no amfa ne nsa ka Job ekra. Wo di Job bibia hye ne nsa, ne japade, ne busuafo, ne household, everything wo de hye ne nsa except the soul of Job himself. Now anuanom me be some question. The fact say Nyankopon eka kire Satan se hwe no amfa ne nsa ka Job no, doesn't it imply says Satan has the ability to kill? And afensu no Job nko na Nyankopon ka kire Satan se hwe no amfa ne nsa ka no. According to Job chapter 1 verse 12, or say, do not lay a hand on his person, meaning Job alone. Enti Job manu omu ye no. Why ne kum omo? Eye common sense. Satan killed the sons and daughters of Job. Job chapter 1 verse 18 to 20. Whilst he was still speaking, another also came and said, your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house, and suddenly a great wind came from across the wilderness and struck the four corners of the house, and it fell on the young people, and they are dead, and I alone have escaped to tell you. Then Job arose, tore his robe, and shaved his head, and he fell to the ground and worshipped. In heard the context of Job chapter 1, above one called Nyankopon anim na bonsam ko hobi no. A Nyankopon busa no about Job, a bonsam accuse Nyankopon of protecting Job and giving him so much wealth. And unti na Job som no. Na Nyankopon ma bonsam kwan say onfa ne nsan ka de Job wo nyina except Job himself. Enti any human death during the course of the temptation was caused by Satan. In Avraham kase Bible nim bonsam enkum obi a, it shows how ignorant he is. Wonim Bible nim. But mummy ehwe say Nyankopon ebe take credit for what Satan did to Job, and nam so no ne ma Satan kwan nti. Mummy ehwe Job chapter 2 verse 3. Then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man, one who fears God and shuns evil, and still he holds fast to his integrity, although you incited me against him to destroy him without cause. Mate. Enti even though it's Satan, and a quiet said Jumani nina eko so Job share man lusu na japade ekum ne ma ne servants esa ne farms ni bibia no. Nyankopon is claiming the credit here as if say wono ne koso Job share. But no, it's because he permitted Satan to do it. That is why I claim that credit no. Na enye hankwa na sade we esi. So Exodus chapter 12 verse 12, Nyankopon say obewra Egypt akum Egypt fo nyina abakan. But so kan kwa asia verse 23, Nyankopon say he will allow the destroyer to enter into Egypt and kill their firstborn. Intianuanom, this is how our God operates. Intianuanom, se 1 Chronicles chapter 21 verse 1 eka say, now Satan stood up against Israel and moved David to number Israel. That is true because Satan aneko tempted David ema aneko kan Israel for. But se 2 Samuel chapter 24 verse 1 enso kase, again the anger of the Lord was aroused against Israel, and he moved David against them to say, go number Israel and Judah. That is also true because God allowed Satan to do that job. Intianam say Nyankopon emma Satan kwan emma ne so David hweye na David falling into the trap no. God also take credit as if say wono ane so David hweye. Inti enye contradiction. Na nuanom, isn't it interesting says so Job chapter 1 verse 6 na emra Satan efra abofo no ko Nyankopon anim no. Verse 7, and the Lord said to Satan, from where do you come? So Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro on the earth, and from walking back and forth on it. I didn't see Satan make his statement. I didn't see Satan eka say he walked back and forth and to and fro on the earth. Because he is looking for his next target. No nyane next target owi a wako heaven ako accept permission and some wetimi abeso oni akrahwe. Enu nti na 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8 eka say, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Mwate, enti bonsam roam about the earth, na onya obi opeso so ne hwa wako siki permission from God, and san wetimi abeso ni akra because bonsam entimi mfa ne nsan kanya memma without asking for permission from God. Enti mumienti asemo a Yesu eka kire Peter ewo Luke chapter 22 verse 31 to 32. Simon, Simon, Satan has asked to sniff all of you as wheat, but I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail, and when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. Enti bonsama ko accept permission so be hwete asuafo ni nyina say wheat, but Yesu ebompaya ma Simon Peter, and he has to strengthen the rest of them. But yenim say bonsam nya baako, which was Judas. Enti this bring me to my final point. Why do you think say Yesu kire na asuafo no say ye bompaya no? Oka kire wo say omo nka say emfa ye nkosohwem na yiye firi bonim. Matthew chapter 6 verse 13. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Enuanom, how can God lead anyone into temptation? Ewa bra James chapter 1 verse 13 eka say God does not tempt anyone. Well, in light of the reading, God can lead you into temptation by permitting Satan. Enti yamfa say Satan enam no obubom se jata no opo bia mene no. No person beso hwa. He then goes to God and asks for permission that I want to tempt this person. That is when God will give him the permission to say the Job no to come and tempt you. Into some paibowi and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. And ebema nyankopon emma Satan kwan emma nimbe so hwe, because it's your prayer request. You don't want that temptation. Into if God answer your request, then he will say no to Satan. In light of the SUN, I hope say it gives us a better understanding. Say number 1, Satan can kill. Number 2, 1 Chronicles chapter 21 and 2 Samuel chapter 24 is not a contradiction. And thanks for watching.